With only a few days left before the release of Etheria Restart, you might be wondering whether you should reroll on release. Now in today's video, we're going to cover that topic, whether you should reroll, what the benefits of it, what my opinions are of it, and if you are rerolling, who you should be rerolling for. Now, a few disclaimers, this is just my opinion. You should make your own opinion, do what you would like to do, and also maybe watch a few other YouTube videos on the topic and see what other people think, especially when we come to the section about who you should reroll for. I think that if you watch a few people, you'll see a few different opinions. And of course, since we are just going off what was in the beta and some character leaks that Etheria Restart have leaked themselves, there might be some changes between my opinions now and when the game officially releases. Now before we get into it, there is a guild or union system. If you need a guild to play with, make sure to join my Discord, link in the description. I'm also going to be hosting a Battle Pass giveaway that has about a week left. So if you do want a chance to win the Battle Pass or some in-game currency equivalent, join the Discord and enter the giveaway. Now the first thing we're going to be talking about is whether you should or shouldn't reroll. So first of all, I want to go through the limitations and the reroll process. By the way, some of my sources will be in the description if you want to have a look for yourself. There isn't a guest account system, so this means you'll have to enter a new email address every single reroll attempt or use the salt method, which is basically just slightly tweaking your email so it still counts and you don't have to make a new email every time, but it's still quite tedious to do. In other games, like solo leveling for instance, it is very quick. You can just click guest account and the reroll process is about 2 minutes. Whereas with Etheria Restart, and presumably this isn't going to change for launch sadly, there isn't a guest account and it takes about 15 to 20 minutes per reroll. Now if you're interested in rerolling, I will put the reroll process on screen now and go through it a little bit. Now it isn't a difficult reroll. You finish the prologue, there is skip buttons which makes it a bit easier. After the prologue you get the single pull which you get Leon. After that you have to finish the main story chapter 1 and it'll give you a 10 pull on the standard banner. After that, you can access the mail and do some pulls for yourself. And also, this is how many pulls you can get. Overall, you can get around 65 pulls on the RG banner, which is honestly quite a lot, so you can get like 2 SSR characters every single reroll, unless you're very unlucky. So that's honestly pretty good for the amount of time, like 15 to 20 minutes for 65 pulls isn't horrible. After converting everything, you can also do 4 pulls on the LD banner. I think that even if your RGB standard banner summons aren't amazing, but like they're not horrible, if you do somehow get Messiah in those 4 pulls, I would be keeping the account. So apart from that, should you or shouldn't you reroll? In my opinion, it all comes down to how long you want to spend rerolling, and also if you spend in the beta. And obviously, if you spend any money in that, if you keep rerolling, you won't be able to redeem the rebate tickets. So I think that anyone who spent, like me, in the beta, they won't be rerolling. If you didn't spend in the beta, I think that you probably should, even just to get like a decent character for PvP or a character that you like to start the game with. I found that with gacha games, if I start off with a few characters that I really like playing, then it gives me more of an incentive to play and build those characters. On the other hand, you do get quite a lot and the game is pretty generous, so I do think that if you don't reroll, you're not going to miss out hugely. Especially since there's no guarantee of how long it'll take you to get a character that you want. Especially if you are rerolling for a light or dark character, there's only really 3 or 4 that I would recommend, and it is just a very, very low chance of you getting them. So you could spend a day or 2 rerolling, and people who didn't reroll are already miles ahead progression-wise. Let's talk about who we should be summoning for. Now first, let's talk about Freya, the first rate-up character. I suggest skipping her rate-up banner initially, at least for a few days, because getting a dupe of her isn't, like, great. Getting dupes of any character isn't great. She is very powerful, but she will be in the standard banner, so I think when rerolling, it is just better to go into the standard banner and maybe you accidentally pick up a copy of her, instead of specifically trying to pull her, as there is other options such as the LD options, which we'll talk about now. So in my opinion, the main 3 are Heinrich, Mio, and Lily. They're just absolutely amazing. Lily's just a universal support. She offers party-wide speed buffs. She can also mark one of the characters on your team, which gives them a turn meter boost, provides crit damage, and allows their ally to assist when Lily attacks. That's amazing, and it goes amazing with a character like Rosa, and other basic attack-focused characters. Heinrich, a DPS debuff, a hybrid character. He is amazing in every area of the game and someone who is just awesome to have on the account. If I was to reroll, I would probably reroll until I got a Heinrich because he is very cool looking too. And finally, Mio. Now, Mio has recently been announced by Etheria Restart. She is a rate-up character, I believe. I believe that she will be in the standard banner at launch, and if she is, then she looks insane, especially to PvP. She has a freeze, which is obviously just awesome for PvP, but also gives a speed buff to all allies. So it feels like if you are going to focus PvP like I am, Mio is someone who will be crucial to the account, and if you do get her from a reroll, it's awesome. Like you will be able to progress in PvP way faster than people who don't have her, basically. Now, there is a few more options for the RGB. Tiamat is obviously an amazing DPS. The AoE is just insane. She's pretty good for PvP too, but in PvP, she will remain a top pick for a while, I believe. Next up, we've got Rosa. She has critical hit potential and ability to control turn meters. She deals heavy damage and disrupts enemies by reducing their turn meters. So if you do manage to get like Rosa with a Mio, pretty much the enemy team is just not going to be able to take a turn. In my opinion, if you do get Lily from the reroll, then picking Rosa up from the selector will be my favorite pick, and what I will do if I do get Lily. The last one I want to give a shout to is actually Reroll. Now, she excels in AoE content, but the reason that I really like her is she shines against the Doki Doki boss and is the best DPS in the Doki Doki boss. Now, I do think that maybe Mio would fight her for that role, but either way, you know, Mio's a light and dark character, Reroll is a hollow unit. So basically, she's a great pick if you want to have an easy time farming Doki Doki, but outside of that, she's not really best in slot. I don't think that she's worth focusing on, but if you do pick up a copy of Reroll, don't be annoyed by it. You can keep her for the Doki Doki fight. Now, I do want to give a shout to Marvel, an SR character, which is kind of crazy. He is light and dark, but that doesn't matter as much for SR units. He has amazing turn control that often allows you to just not need a healer, as the enemies won't really move. This makes progression through PvE a lot easier. His S1 steals turn meter, so he will be the top pick for PvP, especially for free-to-play and people who don't have an SSR replacement. And honestly, I think he might even still be in my PvP team if I do have SSR units. Marvel is just kind of cracked. Okay, so final thoughts. I think that you should maybe reroll a few times until you get an account that you're happy with, only if you didn't spend in the beta. If you are, I would skip the Freya banner, see if you accidentally pick up a copy of her from the standard banner. If you don't, you can get her later on. It's just annoying if you were to summon on her and then summon on the standard banner and get a dupe, as duplicates aren't really amazing in this game. For the light and dark characters, go with Lily, Heinrich, and Mio if Mio is in the standard banner, which she should be. And for the RGB options, go with Tiamat, Xieda, Rosa, and Reroll. And obviously keep an eye out for Marvel, as you do want as many copies of Marvel as possible, as he's cracked in like all types of content. That's the end of the video. I hope it was helpful. If it was, a like and subscribe would be appreciated. And if you have any tips or tricks or questions, please leave them in the comments or join the Discord and ask one of our super helpful community members. They would love to help you out. But have a good day. See you.